We have no public.
This one is. So last week and at council last night, we approved 2 different project agreements. Obviously the first and the largest was about JD Sports and their North American headquarters. They plan to bring 400 new jobs or 400 existing jobs to this facility with plans to add an additional 250. And so that project agreement does not come before the redevelopment commission because that project agreement just entails an abatement. But the project agreement with Buckingham really reflects their role in all of this as our master developer and facilitator to make this whole area happen. So there's 2 different pieces of their project agreement in front of you. One is related to their multifamily project, which is the contrast at Fisher's district. So that is up here. So on their one within the project agreement is considered phase 1, which is 166 multifamily, kind of traditional multifamily units. And then these buildings on the rest of the site that is outlined, those are for rent townhomes. So 88 for rent townhomes. They have played a significant role in helping the acquisition of JD Sports purchase of this kind of new headquarters building and the Link property, in addition to helping us with the Fisher's Field House. So that is the new 180,000 square foot multi-sport complex that will be home to Indy Ignite with their headquarters, and then a practice and training facility there as well. Buckingham, under their project agreement, they are able to do an allocation area and capture the TIF from both the field house and their multifamily project. The field house is a little bit unique because we will have a lease that comes back before the redevelopment commission and I believe city council as an operator of that facility or as a tenant in there. But we know that there will be upfront operational costs that come with that. And so we're requested council approve an abatement for both personal property and real property for that building. After the 10-year period of the field house falls off, then they're able to capture the increment from the field house. And so then they therefore could capture that increment in their projections to be able to use for not only just the field house, but then also for the multifamily project. So it'll be one large allocation area that we're contemplating in this. Under here or under the project agreement as well. So a large infrastructure project that they're doing is extending this public road, which is Maynard Lane, which will extend through the middle of the site, excuse me, and down to what is now our new public road, which is USA Drive. So that is the structure of their project agreement. So it's there's the facilitation of the bonds, so 100% capture of not only just their multifamily, but then the field house as well. Tied into their master development then is the second document in front of you is the purchase agreement between the city, JD North America or JD Sports Finish Line, and then Buckingham Companies. So the Link building, which will be the corporate headquarters, what JD Sports is purchasing, that is currently under contract with Buckingham Group. So Buckingham has worked for a long time to be able to get that property under control. When we first started working with Buckingham, it was as a result of us knowing, okay, if Buckingham builds out this large mixed use development and kind of completes the part of our vision for the event center. Currently, right now, that's all parking. And that parking area is often used and very frequently full. And so we knew that we were going to have this gap. When we started to do an analysis of what it would cost to replace that parking with a parking garage, to replace 800 parking spaces, the cost of the parking garage is about $25,000 to $30,000 per parking space. And so that would have been well north of $45 million for us to be able to build a parking garage that would get used 125 times a year. So instead, we saw the Link property, which is currently owned by MJ Wilco, knew that they weren't getting a lot of leasing activity in there. And instead thought, well, what better way than to leverage the existing property and existing assets that are there and get access to that. So Buckingham was working to get the building under control for them to be able to purchase. So we would have a friendly partner in that. When JD Sports became an opportunity for them to purchase that for their corporate headquarters. They, within this purchase agreement, the structure is JD Sports will purchase the building. Buckingham will first purchase the building. At the closing table, then the city is coming with $6.1 million, which buys down that purchase price that JD Sports eventually purchased the building for, which is $13.1 million. While that might seem like a lot of money, what that actually gets us is access to a perpetual parking easement for this entire Link parking area on event days. So we're actually netting additional parking spaces as part of this deal. We're also, through this acquisition, purchasing and getting USA Drive, which is currently a private road, and that will become a public road. And then the two outlots that are along here on USA Parkway, we will own both of these properties, which is kind of prime retail and commercial development paths. So that a $6.1 million investment for this compared to $45 million. Plus now we get the benefit of a road, which helps with traffic ingress and egress for events. And a corporate headquarters is a pretty great deal for us. So the purchase agreement outlines every party's obligations to be able to facilitate this closing that is set to happen hopefully next week. It's a lot of information, 3 very big projects on their own, but thrown all together in a very exciting announcement. But again, purchase agreement is the second item in front of you, which is includes our commitment of bringing the 6.1 to the table to then help facilitate that within our project agreement with Buckingham. That's where you see the tip capture, the $6.1 million grant, and a waiver or a credit of impact fees for Maynard Lane, which is this road extension here. A condition to all of that, and one of their obligations then is facilitating the purchase and the construction and the ownership of the Fisher's Fieldhouse with that. Happy to answer any questions. Jennifer, feel free to jump in with anything that I might have missed on either of those documents.
I do not have anything to add. I'm glad, like you, to take questions.
The road that runs along I-69 behind the building,
This one?
public?
Yep, this is USA Parkway. That's a public road.
But it's just the park in front of the building.
That goes through their site. That is the private road.
It'll have a split. It'll go through the center of the Buckingham property, and then it'll still spur up straight north at that
Yes.
joint.
So this will become part of a private road.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that'll stay public road.
Okay.
It will go through their site though. And then Maynard Lane, this extension, that will be a public road that they construct and build to public road standards.
Okay. You've been pretty thorough about all the details surrounding it, which we appreciate.
Questions, comments from the members?
We're excited. Congratulations.
Big draw.
Sure.
All right, well, we have 2 resolutions before us. I think it's gone through very carefully and very well explained them. Let's deal with the first one. This is the resolution approving the Buckingham project agreement. Have a motion on the resolution.
Second that motion.
Motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Second item is the resolution approving the purchase agreement that Megan explained to us with respect to parcels and the petrol needs. Parking purposes. So, motion on that.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Last item we have on the agenda is the resolution approving training grant agreement. I believe that's with Incom.
Reed, do you want to give an overview on that one?
Sure.
Yeah, this training agreement, is done through Heartland Advocates, and it will to reimburse training costs to INCOG in this instance and potentially other companies in the future, up to $1,500 per employee. And it also, involves employees that are, veterans and coming back into the workforce. So we think it's a good program. We can reimburse up to $50,000 per company. And I believe there's a 5-year term on that agreement. So they have 5 years to pull down 50,000.
1,500 per employee. Per employee.
Yes.
You said Incog Bioworks, is that right?
INCOG Biopharma. Yeah, INCOG is the first company that we're utilizing this program for.
Okay.
But hopefully this can be a framework for future companies as well.
Sure. And who does the educational facilitation, or is that internal and within?
So that is through Heartland Bioworks.
That's what I was.
So that is,
yeah.
yeah.
Part. Sorry, I was bringing them both together.
And that's the group that received the federal designation under the USCDA 2 years ago as Indiana or Central Indiana now is a biotech hub. And so they received funding in dollars through the federal government for that. So it's a really, really cool program. One of not only like bring veterans back into Indiana. It also adds an increase to different training capacities and capabilities, which is a huge win for INCOG and 7 Auto and some of these groups who have to facilitate that. But it's also a great marketing tool. Like we're not having to build out a training facility. We're not having to be the facilitator of it. And so I think Reed hit it spot on that it's a great program for us to be able to talk about elevate and leverage as we try to recruit additional life science companies to the shores.
And do the employees go to like a facility? Is it online, or do they come to the?
It's in person. They go to a variety of different locations, I think. But we only pay the training grant if they get placed and hired at one of the companies as well. Yeah. So if this program expands and they do something at Lilly, obviously we're not going to pay for a Lilly employee. But it's again for $1,500 per person. It's a great opportunity.
And then they have to get placed, so the risk factor is pretty
Yeah,
low.
for sure.
All right. Any comments, further questions from the members? How about a motion on the resolution?
Second that motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Any other items on the agenda for us?
No.
No? All
The
right.
real quickly, if I may, I got a question earlier about virtual meetings, which I kind of feel bad addressing while I'm having to be virtual today. But I did want to respond to that so that everyone kind of knows why we do not host more virtual meetings. That's a state statute issue. And if there's an emergency, so since COVID, and during COVID, the legislature adopted legislation, went into law that allowed virtual meetings. It was then it was amended, to allow virtual meetings when a state of emergency has been declared, but only full virtual meetings in a situation where there is a state of emergency. What we can do is that if we from outside of a state of emergency, then people may join the meeting virtually. But we can, Fishers can't really adopt anything outside of the state statute that allows these meetings to be virtual, except for in those state of emergency situations without meeting the quorum in person.
Fair enough.
Appreciate it.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes. Yes, yes. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.